Alrighty, so last video we went and talked about how we went and built the garden boxes and all the wood stuff that went into that. So today we're going to look at how do we put these into the ground. Now I have the box laid out in the spot that I wanted to, but especially because the legs kind of like stand up a little bit, you know, we know this isn't exactly flat. So we want to go and make sure that the box is level so that we don't get drainage to go and pool up on one side of the box, as well as we don't want any erosion happening inside the box. So I've already made the box over here to be sunk into the ground a little bit on the top end. So as you might be able to see, this is sloping down and it slopes down much further down here. So we're trying to go and use the level terrain or more level terrain right now to get the first few boxes in, and then we'll probably terrace it down a little bit, so the next box will be probably in this area and then one more in this area and probably another below there. We also have to look out for where's the natural course of water going. So we do have a line going along the side of the road here, and it kind of drops down right here. So maybe it might not be best to put it here. Or we'll need to redirect the water to go more directly down the hill instead of angling down the hill. So to do this, I typically, at least for this one, I started with the lowest point on my box. That lowest point is going to be this corner. And so I want everything to be at the same level as this corner. I'm going to go and dig around this, and I'm going to go and make a trench that goes basically right where the box is, and then to dig it down such that it's level. Now I don't really care about what's in the middle. I will probably turn that over or use some of that dirt as dirt inside of my box. And I'll probably even use the stuff that I till out at the edge to put that in more. We want to go and incorporate as much dirt as possible from the environment, and that way we don't have to worry about so much or putting in so much dirt from just like store-bought or from other sources like manure. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start digging on this, and I'll get back to you once I get this squared away. All right, one more thing. What kind of tools would you want to use for this? Well, since I'm leveling out everything, what I typically want to use is more of a flat blade shovel. I know that it's easier to dig down into dirt when it's kind of a spade type shovel that has a more pointed edge, but this will help you to go and, instead of dig down, scrape away and to make sure everything is level. Now, as you'll see in the time lapse, a lot of what I'm doing to start out with is just labeling out where my edge is. For any particular edge, I'll just go and lightly tap down, and that way I label, this is the edge of my box, this is the edge of where I'll be digging. And I'll do kind of the same thing on the center, just labeling out that's how far I want to dig out, because I don't really want to go further into the center. I just want to get enough on the edge. aside from that edge that I just saw, I've gotten the base of it dug around on each side. So now we're just wanting to make sure that it's level. So because this is terraced terrain, then what we can do for some of it is kind of cheat a little bit. I put one of the rocks here. As we said before, our soil is really rocky. If you saw me laboring through that process, it's simply because each time you go through, you hit either a root or a rock. So to do this, just kind of go and get a general idea of where level is. So if I place this rock here, then up to the end of this thing, I'm level. So then just continue that on to, well, as long as it contains that, then I should be level. Well, this means I'm going to dig out about an inch on this stretch. And then same sort of thing on this side. Put that down, and hey, with the rock, we're level. So I'm going to continue that process from starting from this corner where it's the lowest and just working my way over to the far corner. So welcome back. It's come the morning now because it was getting a lot later last night, and so we've flattened everything out such that everything is level for each of the sides on our setup. So now we just want to go and replace that now ground layer with our box, and because the pegs are going down a little bit further on some edges, those edges I'm going to try to go and keep on the back edge, because this soil is rather rocky. Like, I was digging, it's like rock. So, and I think that's especially because as the water is coming down this way, you get a lot of like limestone or like kind of a lot of flat rocks that just, I mean, it's just covering layers and layers and layers, just crumpled up into different pieces. So that's what we're working with. That's what we're trying to go and get through. So what I'm gonna do is just go and put the box up there, and we'll make sure it's level, and if it's not, we'll just tamp it down to make sure it is level. All right, so let's put it in there. All right, so relatively level, and then we just double check it on each side. So this side, we are a little high on this end, so we'll just have to knock that down a little bit. This side, this direction, we are level, so we'll be good on that one. And this direction is also high on this end, so it's probably just high on the corners, so I'll just knock them down. Got plenty of rocks to do that. right, so we just got the garden box put in. Everything is leveled out. We've gotten everything nailed. Well, okay, so the taps that went down into the ground a little bit, we've kind of just dug them out a little bit, or just stepped on them and pushed them in a little bit. So now what we're wanting to do is till in the soil. Well, we're going to start with tilling in the soil that we already have here, which is this layer that I've just kept in the middle. So what we'll do with this is we'll just turn this over, and typically that just means taking a curved shovel that I don't really care how it directs it. Go and dig down until I can, pick it up, and yeah, turn it over. And maybe chomp up a little bit of the stuff. We want to do this for the whole bit. That way it goes and lets the roots dig deeper into the actual soil as opposed to the stuff that we're adding in. Now, in terms of the stuff we're adding in, we want to go and have a good mixture of dirt. We'll want to have typically a lot of like topsoil and manure, stuff like cow manure or horse manure. Those go great in, and you can probably plant within a month or two. Our lovely chicken manure, wait a year before you plant, or at least 6 months. That way it can go ahead and get acclimatized, because chicken manure is really, really strong. But we also want to go and add something to go and hold some of the moisture. So that's a lot of peat moss. And then just kind of mix in whatever else you have here, as well as I added a fertilizer is 13-13-13. It just means that there's 13% of each of those materials in it. So and then, as you can kind of see with this box, there's some grass on top. That's grass clippings from this last year that I composted. And yeah, compost manure, both of those are great in terms of getting the nutrients in the soil, but as well as getting something that it will hold the moisture. So I'm going to go ahead and dig through this, and we'll join you up when we get done there. Alright, so that's all been dug out. Now we'll go and layer on some dirt, and we'll go ahead and actually till it over again. So to show that, I'm going to show on this box. We've already put in the dirt and kind of mixed it in a little bit, and I put on the grass and the fertilizer. And so you just want to do the same thing over again, but now be able to mix in some of the dirt that's down there with the dirt that we put on top. So just dig down and get a little bit of that clay. There's a little bit there, and then mix it together. And you want to do this for the whole thing. Now, the question that some of you might be asking is, why am I doing this with a shovel as opposed to a rototiller? Well, this stuff I might be able to do with a rototiller, but everything over here, because there's so much rocks in the soil. I don't know if you noticed me during that time lapse going and shoving some of the rocks to the edges. That shoving the rocks to the edges just to help it fortify the bottom of the box. Alright, and it's to fortify the bottom of the box and to just make it so that all the rocks are not in the center where I want my plants growing down. So that'll be all for right now. I'll get done with this and my wife will come back to you in our next video going and saying how she wants to go and put plants in the soil. So have a great day, subscribe, and thank you for watching.